Welcome back, everybody, from the break. Pretty quick break. We're going to get, obviously, into the swing of things very, very quickly here. In the end, though, of course, 7th Heaven coming up winners against Order. We do move on, of course, though, to next match pretty quickly, Dev. And this one hits a little closer to home.
Yep. It is an OS bash, which I'm really excited about. It has been so long since I casted some OS teams, and it is the home favorites, Knights and Elevate. Both teams have had a couple shakeups, and I'm really excited. I think there's some really cool narratives for both of these teams, and a bit of a rivalry developing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Knights, they're trying to elevate themselves. Oh, terrible. I always say the word elevate when I'm talking about this stuff, which is a terrible choice. But the Knights, we see them on screen now. Dino, Hayward, Juicy, Josh, Sage, they're pushing for first in OS. But now, of course, that's transferred into APAC South, and they're trying to make a statement here. I have them down in my rankings as potentially finishing second this season. That might be a little bit of a stretch, considering we've already seen the strength of some of the Southeast Asian competition. But I think that they have a great chance to really make a name for themselves on the global scale.
Sejon, of course, slotted in late last year and has been a mainstay on this Knights roster ever since, and they have looked, well, I guess almost unbeatable in the Oceanic region over the last couple of months. They've really cemented that top spot, or at least have given Wildcard a really big run for their money. So I'm excited to see how they go in this APAC South division and whether or not they can take that home form and bring it as well. Of course, their opponents, though, as you said before, guys, Elevate. They are looking to elevate the occasion. They've elevated their roster as well with some changes. Dev, Fisher guy comes in, and it really just feels like it rounds out this roster. And this is maybe the best we've seen them ever.
I'm really, really excited for these guys. Now, for those who don't know, Elevate's been in a massive, massive rut. It's pretty public, I think. They went from second place in Pro League at the start of last year, and they've just had a failure after failure through Six Masters, through Oceanic Nationals, all year long. And then our lovely friends Noble, or Melon Cat, they unfortunately disbanded, leaving Fisher Guy and Mollusca to come over and be a part of Elevate. And I think it's absolutely what they need to reevaluate themselves, rebuild from the ground up, and go back to being not only what they were at second place in ANZ at the time, but even to surpass it. I think these guys have massive potential, and it is all on this rebirth that they are having right now.
Yeah, I guess the question really is, though, will that addition of Fisho into the starting lineup and as support staff be enough to actually elevate this team, to bring this team up to a good enough standard? I think it's difficult to say right now. Are they a serious threat to this region, or are they just making up the numbers? Because remember, you finish in the top 4 at least to make the playoffs and be a chance for the major. At the moment, I don't see them making the top 4, but I do see this team having potential in the latter stages. So I think it's going to take them just a little bit to sort of get into the motions.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you too much there, guys, as much as I would really like to. Where we might get some more information, though, is, of course, in the map choices here, or at least the map veto process, and what we're going to see for this matchup between Knights and Elevate, as it will come out. See, this is the thing. I was ready for the rapid fire. Last time it was like, went too quick, and now it hasn't come out at all, and I just can't win. Production's killing me. No, I love them. But, Dev, I want to just know here, you go.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, Chalet.
Chalet. Woo! The debut on the main channel for Chalet. Never seen before on the Rainbow Six channel. And we're going here. It's the Chalet rework that came out last year in Shadow Legacy. I am so pumped. I've been playing the heck out of this map in ranked, forming all the strats. I know Guz has got the ace players down pat. I'm so hyped for this. And all my spreadsheet with all my stats and results, I could just throw that out the window because these teams have never played Chalet in an official match before, which is just so damn exciting.
Yeah, I think this matchup could come down to maybe not necessarily who is the best outright team, but which team has prepared the best for Chalet, keeping in mind that we're also on the new patch, so maybe the teams that are more dedicated would have been screened back on the test server to make sure that All their strats will work across onto the new build. So yeah, I'm super keen. Again, I think the team that has prepared the best strats and can play the map the best will be the one that wins. Maybe not necessarily the best mechanically skilled team or best overall team, if you would.
You can't sit on the fence here, guys. I'm going to have to ask for your predictions here. I want your prediction. Give it to me. What is it? Is it Elevate? Is it Knights?
Knights. That's got to be the Knights, surely. I mean, I'm going to backpedal a little bit on what I just said, but Knights, I think they just have the better pedigree. Again, maybe Elevate have been spending a lot of time on this map, though, so they could put up a fight, but Knights should have the edge.
Bev?
Yeah, Knights totally. Knights are the most improved team in OS by far. They've made massive strides in the last year and asserted themselves as potentially the best in OS, especially with Wildcard going through some problems. I think that they're a really good team, and I think that they're organized enough to have practiced a decent amount of Chalet, so let's see.
I'm going to go Knights as well. I mean, how can you really look past what is the premier team in the Oceanic region? It is, of course, going to be Knights versus Elevate, and we will throw it back over to our lovely casters.
Lovely casters, geez, that's a stretch, but I do love it. Thank you very much, Xenox, and thank you to Guz and Dev for their insights as we now prepare for the very first time Chalet. And I could not be more excited, Raven. I feel like you're going to be feeling a lot more comfortable in this situation right now, but I am going to piggyback off that conversation they were just having. This is our home game, right? Knights and Elevate, these are the bread and butters of all of our talent. We've been watching these teams for so long now, and I do have to reiterate, Knights are looking good, but before I give you an opportunity to speak, Elevate. I'm on the Elevate train. I don't care.
Yeah, sure, you go it. And like, I'm gonna stick with Knights for this one. Don't get me wrong though, I really feel like Elevate are gonna pick themselves up this season. It's gonna be a real different story for them compared to 2020. But I feel like the Knights, they've just got that head start. They've probably been working on this map for quite a while now, just knowing the Knights and the way they prep for things. I feel like they've got the upper hand here. But you know, you talked about this being the home game, Knights versus Elevate. This is actually these guys playing each other in the Oceanic Nationals last stage in game number 1. And it was a brutal 7-5 close match. So I'm really hoping we get something similar here.
Well, honestly, I mean, I don't know how much we can really take away from the one-off tournament at Rex, obviously 2 weekends ago now, but Knights are just looking so good. They are looking so good. And I would expect nothing but for them to back it up here. And what a shock. A Thatcher ban, a Valkyrie ban, a Mirror ban. I'm in utter shock. I feel like they might be some of the most banned.
They definitely are, and they are good bans for this map. Like, I mean, you can't look past it. Mirror can be very troublesome to deal with on Chalet. It was the same on old Chalet, it's the same on current Chalet. And likewise with Valkyrie, she can be really helpful with extra info, obvious reasons. And Chalet just being a really big open map, I think it's tough to be able to find all those Valkyrie cameras without constantly picking IQ. So banning the Valkyrie gives you that flexibility.
I just got baited so hard. I saw the Monty being picked from Fisho, and I thought, hang on a second. Is this Elevate leaning into the Southeast Asian play style? No. Just get baited every day of the week. Ace, of course, was the 6th pick in that one. And Dino on the Frost, I would have to say, a very niche pick. But you can understand it on a map like this.
Totally. Frost actually quite good to play on Chalet, this new iteration of Chalet in particular. And when you're defending this top 4, hard holding the top 4 regardless, those Frost mats can just be a pain to deal with. So you're going to have to be thorough on your drones, checking windows. Just a really good pick. I love to see that from the Knights. In general, this lineup just feels really well rounded from them. Bringing that Wamai and Ye combo, we taled a bit about it in map number 1 tonight. It's just so helpful bringing Wamai to supplement Jaeger because of those ADS changes. It's going to make it harder to deal with gadgets because your projectiles are going to be picking up left, right, and center.
Yep. A lot of renovations, a lot of setups here for Knights on this first starting of the round. And is he just going to work as that construction worker? So many different rotates for them to be able to play with You reading anything into this, Raven? I mean, we're seeing quite a large volume of rotates.
Yeah, they just want to have a lot of freedom. Something that can happen on this top floor is you can get a little bit bogged down and make it tough to rotate. For example, if that castle barricade in towards the piano there in master bedroom was to be taken out, you're completely isolated. You can't rotate through that middle hallway if digital was to hold that angle. So to have it rotate into the closet and then into the bathroom does just create extra flexibility.
Well, they were talking about, you know, who's most prepared for this map, because I do feel like that is what it's going to come down to. Obviously, we could see who the potential better team is, but push comes to shove, it is going to come a lot into this. Larium now with Vast putting the attention in. Nice use. Sledge dismantling the barricade very early here with a minute 30 gone, and God Legion taking down Haywood. That's the pick after your elevate. Start things out, make them a bit more uncomfortable.
Really liking this so far from Elevate. It's not the particular meta push that I've seen, at least on Chalet. Normally you would take Office and towards the lobby, and that is a great start from Elevator Trade coming out, 4 versus 3. They have a good map control here of Solarium. Worthy covering from the windows, and Digital cutting this rotate. So that means they essentially have that master control once they clear out bathroom. But there's the castle, it's Juicy. He's holding on to that very important map control here in the closet.
And you feel like you might just be stuck, if not for the rotates that we were literally just highlighting earlier. They do have bedroom control now, although... Oh, see you later, God Legion! What a response from Fisho Guy. I don't think you can get more lucky with that. It looked like bullet holes was going to be the aim of the game there, and it turned into an opportunity. Worthy now in a 1 versus 2. Fisho is down, and he is going to have to claw this back. 20 seconds left, Raven.
Yeah, I was going to say, Fishing Guy's salvageable here. He's going to go for the revive, but Solarium Stairs is where the defender is, and that is going to be Josh that came up to finish that one off. The show ended by Dino in the end, and fought back well from the Knights. I really thought that Elevate started that attack nicely, but the Knights, they held strong, and those rotates really enabled that for them, so great job.
A little bit fortunate with the pick there. Traded very promptly, though. Solarium take, from my eyes, my uneducated eyes, if you will, looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. I think there were a couple of moments there Knights could have been completely shut down. Wonderful job to really retake it. I think Sage actually nearly pulled out a 2K on that swing into Solarium from the bathroom. Regardless, we do move on, and let's go to kitchen.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Just felt like maybe Elevate could have spared one player to be on bathroom window, and that would have flushed out the castle
Bomb
position, I believe it was
located by
GP, and that round could have been very different for Elevate, so almost great opening round for them. Not quite. Knights get away with it. Here they are. They're going to push forward in towards kitchen and dining. This bomb site again. This is the revamped Chalet, so it's not kitchen trophy anymore as it was of old. It's kitchen dining. That means that defending the lobby is even more valuable, because that is where you can hard breach straight to site. Does put a bit of pressure. We'll see whether that's the decision that Elevate try to go for on this push. A couple of ways you can do it, but of course vertical is also a very important part of this bomb site.
I think reiterating that point is Knights right now. A lot of attention being thrown up there. It looked as though 3 or so players were going to be playing off the back of it. You got Sage and Dino. 2 players you really would not want to be walking into. I think Sage, I have to highlight his performance from last year. An unknown entity coming into the Oceanic National Stage 2 for the Australian New Zealand National League. He really turned some heads. Look at this flank. Well, I wouldn't say flank as much. This aggressive play on Solarium Stairs. Oh, that's what we're talking about.
That is a tight angle from Juicy and Digital off the board, and this is a great read from Knights early. It seems to be where Elevate want to enter. They just want to take Solarium no matter the site, and this is being repelled perfectly, and this is where it's tough. You can't just take map control straight from windows. You need to be able to push players out. And given that it is kitchen dining, there are going to be players hanging pretty close to trophies as soon as you realize that they're trying to push Solarium. as we've seen, Juicy can just hold that angle and try and shut it down. So this is a good job from the Knights so far. That's definitely going to stall out Elevate, trying to take some map control. But Vast, he's coming in from below from this big garage.
Without throwing bodies at him, it is going to be incredibly hard to displace him all the way there between Trophy and Solarium. And as I do say that, it's Vast taking lead. Player that could really throw some curveballs at Elevate here. Juicy doesn't expect him so far up. And Vast just backs away for a second. Is that God Legion in sight right now? Or is that... Oh my word, okay. That has just been absolutely sent in. They can now stop that from Sage. The flank. Is Sage going to be able to pick this up? My goodness, how does Vast win that? 50 seconds left and Elevate are in the right stead.
They are. This has been really good early map control here from Godlin and Vast in particular at that opening. And Worthy holding this lobby rotate. Leaves it all up to Dino. He's in Solarium still. And the big boy is going to come down those stairs. Surely the sound call is going to be alerting Elevate as God Legion sticks this Plantmatic post-plant situation. 3v1 for Elevate.
OC4 to use. At the best of times, a 1v3 is going to be hard. If he can find that first hurdle, give himself an opportunity, some room to breathe. Here's the player coming from behind. He won't expect that. Little sneaky play from God Legion. Just a corner, tucked away, nestled by the wine bottles. And just like that, a round for Elevate. And a good way to kind of ensure that Knights don't get too far ahead of themselves here.
Really like that from Elevate. Once they got that entry in through Trophy, I believe it was God Legion, Vast actually initiated from the west main that diverted that attention so that God Legion could rotate straight through the kitchen. And that just gave them the site control they needed. That was where the Knights were caught off guard. The rest of their players were just off site, so it was really just about catching the picks as they came back. Beautifully executed from Elevate and a great disciplined post plant. God Legion certainly could have peeked that kitchen door earlier, but he waited and waited. And even after Vast got picked, he still waited. It was really good experience there from God Legion that pulled that through.
I mean, I know this sounds outrageous, but a cheeky little peek from God Legion could have ended up in a team kill or anything. You just never know. I know that's really stretching, and sometimes I just like to play the what if factors. But without a doubt, that is what Elevate will be needing for their confidence. That's what they'll be needing to start. A team that, in their own rights, have their characters, have their joyful spirits, and
5 seconds remaining.
I really think there's something to this roster. Fisho, Milo coming across as well. I think we may be seeing a new era heading into 2021 for a lot of teams. And I think that's been proven by Seventh Heaven a little less than half an hour ago.
Very true. And, just to quickly highlight, Fisher guy in particular coming from the roster, very well known as a strong leader in the teams he's been in. He was quite a mainstay on his old roster, went through many different iterations, but he has very strong leadership skills as well as shot calling. It's something that I know Elevate has spoken about a lot, is their indecision and just that leadership. They had Hot Shot previously last year, try and fill that gap, didn't quite work out. Now that they've been able to pick up Fisher guy, I think just the quality of a player that Fisher guy is will just bring something else to Elevate. And I think it's just a matter of time, and Fast is on fire with these entries as the Ash player. Will get that first one onto Juicy. Quite the whiff from Juicy though. He had the jump, didn't get the frag.
I would say that's twice that Vast has almost been given a second life for free. First, it was Sage on the staircase. Then it was Juicy on Library staircase. It literally is starting to form a pattern here. And by all means, an opening is an opening, but also momentum can swing incredibly heavy for someone like Vast. And it looks like it may just snowball into this round as well. Knights will have to step into this role, will have to step up to the challenge if they want to be able to convert a 5 versus 3.
They will. They've got strong players to clutch this out, though. Sage and Dino in particular, known as quite sharp, smart players. Josh as well has been able to be very consistent for Knights in the past. So
Attackers
still
have
wouldn't
located
put it
a bomb.
past them. We've got a minute to play as well. Oh my gosh, that's Digital just face checking it straight to Josh, but it's Worthy. He's found another pick onto Dino. This is getting progressively harder, and now all on the shoulders of Sage, mate.
Bomb has been located.
Progressively harder, impossible. I don't know, what's the difference here at the moment? Might be able to find himself a double, but the air jab, that almost saved 2 lives there. And 2 rounds on the board for Elevate on their attacking side in what will be first time we've seen Chalet played in this kind of competition.
It is, yeah. As Guz mentioned on the desk, you know, we've seen it played in some of the other Asian region nationals. I think it was Japan Championships. We saw once or twice Chalet was played, but here we are in the main regionals, APAC South.
Yeah.
It's the first time we're going to see it played. Didn't take long, right? Second match of the night. And look, I love it so far. I think it's a great map. It's been a real back and forth. You know, Knights started off strong in that master bedroom defense, but Elevate have been putting some great attacks together.
Defenders, protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
They just have to keep it up. You know, it's it's one thing to start early, and Knights are definitely a team that have the legs to continue and to push back, stand up when they need to. Really enjoying this top 4 defense. At least the setup I'm enjoying from Knights. Just seen the previous round, we saw them convert it quite successfully in the end. Elevate still had their opportunities. You cannot discount that.
5 seconds to insertion.
But will we see Elevate go for a similar take? Solarium across. Will they change things up? Maybe try to catch some of these Knights players off-site, unawares.
I think what's scary for Knights here is, yeah, while they did win this in the first round, but it did come down to 2v2. On top of that, Elevate had a pretty successful start to the round. They took great map control in Solarium, and they put so much pressure in through Master. They just had a couple of loose ends they didn't tie up. So if Elevate do manage to read into that, and the Knights haven't quite adapted, it will be tough. But we've got 2 roamers off site here. It's the Malusi and the Jaeger. This Elevate, if they are going to take different map control from the south side, for instance, these roamers can certainly be more at play.
A much slower and quieter start to the round. Vast hasn't entered yet, so, you know, once he's entered the building, things will start to go bang. Once again, Digital was the first inside of the building itself. Solarium stairs still going to be held. I believe that is by Hayward. So they're not going to be able to contest from the windows as fruitfully as they were before. Oh, Hayward nearly catching a foot out there. I mean, just damage at this point, but every little bit helps.
Especially, looks like Elevator's sticking a very similar push to the last time. And if you stall this out, it's what we saw in the second round, I believe. You know, Digital was stuck on those windows. It's stalled out there. It's not a great position to be stalled. And it's just a lot easier for the defense to try and work around something to stop you from getting in or even work a pick. So, yeah, I'm really curious to see the adaptations that Elevate make to make this work better.
Okay, first smoke being used from Fisher, I assume. It's okay. That's good from Worthy. That's what we needed. The smoke has enabled Elevate to push into Solarium now. It's given them the cover that they needed to. Vast still hanging in and around the bedroom double window. Haywood and Sage come together for Knights. A moment of need. The heroes step up to the moment. And slowly but surely the dust settles. And you would have to calm before the storm.
It's a good rotate from Worthy onto that bathroom window, but I can't help but feel it's a little too late in the round. The Knights just have good map control. The Fuser is down in Solarium over there. It's going to take a lot of work for Elevate to get back in, and that is just Elevate falling to pieces. Juicy pulls the final piece off of Elevate. And that's the Knights getting around back to make it 2-2.
Lovely work from Knights. That looked really clean. There was a chance once Worthy had opened up the first kill that you may start to, you know, have that inkling of belief. Knights have done a really great job at just stamping their authority on that top floor defense. But that wasn't really the danger sign. That wasn't where we saw a lot of the cracks. Obviously, a 2 versus 2 in the first round doesn't bow very comfortably, but they still managed to make that work and keep 2 alive in the end. And now we're looking at a situation where they have to reattempt what was presumably their weaker bomb sites.
To locate and defuse bombs.
And maybe it was just Vast completely catching Knights unaware. Who knows? Only one way to find out. It all starts here. Prep phase now. As Knights will, at this point, just need to continue chipping away on this defense. Really curious to see what kind of play style Chalet is going to favour.
I think it was a great question that you kind of posed before, Manic, about Vast's early entry on this site and Elevate's successful attack. We didn't see it reattach straight away from Knights. They finally rotated back to it now in round number 5. But without that quick entry from Vast and that little read, really, how differently could the round have played out? Okay, that's something that we're probably going to see now. The Knights are a pretty good team at that. So if they cut that off and stop that early entry from Vast and Godly, it could play out really differently. It means that Elevate are going to either push roamers or really just work something different. They can't just rely on that little quick slide in to get them that side control.
Keep your eyes on how long it really takes them to initiate this response. Maybe either way. Maybe either way. That could be a very detrimental kill in the grand scheme of things. Digital gone. It's not all of their soft potential breaching gone, but it's certainly a fair bit of it. Well, with Vast going down, that may well and truly be a huge hindrance. And was that as he vaulted through the window? You hate to see it.
Definitely a rough start on the entry this time here for Elevate. Highlighted how well it worked out for them in round number 2, but not this time. Digital, in fact, was the opening death in round number 2, so it wasn't too different of a start, but really not giving them much here. Looks like it's going to be a heavy lobby push. And they're just going to start pushing straight to Dining, but there are 2 players on this flank. Worthy, the nice pick though, does potentially get that opening that Elevate need.
Worthy of everyone now. Maybe the player to give Elevate what they needed, which, you know, in this round very much had been lacking from Vast. Doesn't look like they can fully deny it. Dino just managing to catch out the toes. It took him a little while, nearly a full clip, and now they've pretty much got the choke necks into the site. God Legion stuck. Dino should be able to stop anything that walks through the choke point. That it does. Knights. That looked like a much better round.
It was, and you know, Elevate still almost found that opening. They got 3 players onto site in that mid-late round section. I was a bit worried that plant might be confirmed. It really was beneficial that Dino got that first pick through the rafters. It was a great angle, and that kind of just destabilized the rest of the positions. Didn't really fall on top of it. But again, Elevate are just looming. They are looking for openings. They're finding them, but it was a good adaptation from the Knights with that vertical control. Hard to get past that. So here we go. Could be a 3-3 half, honestly, Manic. I would not at all be surprised.
Yep.
You know, Snow Wine in particular was the worst sight we saw from Knights. In fact, it was a flawless round in favor of Elevate last time.
So, Jackal being swapped out for the Ash adaptation from Elevate. Sick of dealing with those pesky little roamers. Certainly make it a lot easier in clearing that top floor, which Knights, especially in that round, you saw how useful it can be having vertical presence, not just on top, down below, pre-prepped holes, murder holes, whatever you want to call them. And
5 seconds to go.
a little bit more due diligence from Elevate in this round might just do them so good.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
The change on entry ops here, Vast actually not going the Ash this time, going the Jack. They've really identified that the Knights are just looking to run around, and it's something that has always been a thing with Chalet. I remember back in Chalet of old, sometimes dealing with the roam was quite painful. There were some angles that you could utilize on the attack to make it easier, but that's not the case on the rework. So roams can be quite strong. But I'm liking this from Elevate. The adaptation's good. They can help with this roam clear and even find opening picks. Great start, especially for a snow wine attack. And they'll get map control. They can put vertical on. It starts to snowball.
Pun intended.
Sure.
So that's what we need from Vast. Nice early entry. Force back anyone looking for those style of flanks. Or just in particular roams, as we see it now. They are going to need to move back and move quite fast. Doesn't look as though anyone from Elevate will be too hotly contested on any roam or flank just yet. And I think you could, in part, say thank you very much for that Jackal being brought. Turtling on site now for Knights. All 5 members. Oh, 4 with 1 deep in garage there. They're ready for whatever comes their way.
Well, it just depends whether Elevate at all get close to pushing that side. At this stage, it looks like they're really keen to just continue to push from lobby and down in towards Snowmobile. And, starting to hear some hard breach going off from Ace. Hopefully that is the snowball wall, and it is. So again, really good pressure from Elevate. And Gold Legion, he's finally found the opening. It's taken 2 minutes, but it's juicy off the board. So this is again a good start from Elevate. And it's pretty structured attack right now from them.
It's what you love to see from Fisho, something that he's been so well known for. Are those swings, Vast with timing, just doesn't make it work now. Caught in an angle. Digital taken down on the staircase. Perfectly done from Josh. Whips out the shotgun for the close call. Haywood doing the damage. And all of a sudden, Fisho, God Legion, eat your hearts out. 20 seconds left. I dare say, I do not believe in this occasion. A 4-2 half for Knights as we head to the second.
Really well played from Knights in the end. They never really abused the control they got, given that Snowmobile was open fairly late in the round. Control from Elevate, it was not something they could capitalize on. So they will take a 2-4 half. You know, not bad. I don't think Chalet has been played enough to be able to say whether this is really going to be one way or another in competitive. But yeah. I would be pretty happy if I'm Elevate getting those 2 attacks, and they challenged on the other attacks. It's not like the Knights, you know, were running over the top of them or outplaying them to an extreme level. So if I'm Elevate, like, I'd be feeling pretty good coming into this second half.
Yep. And, you know, they've got the room to move. I would dare say they'd be feeling decently confident. We got to pause just a moment as we get back into the second half. Would have to agree with you, and I'm always going to look at Knights and ask the question, what's in the back pocket? What have they got prepared? Because more often than not, it does feel like Knights have just that extra kind of advantage in any matchup that they play. And I think we've started to see that really shine through in the last, I would say, 4 months in particular, 3 months if you want to be precise, you know, taking down the likes of Wildcard, destroying Okami, and even Elevate in their previous matchups. So this is something where, yeah, sure, Elevate, they got the rounds on the board, they did what they needed to do, you know, they won the attacks that they needed to win, and they've given themselves time, you know, at the very least, space to breathe. Now, they most definitely need to capitalize on that, advantage. And it starts in the first round of the second half. And it starts in the basement.
Really cheeky little 6-pick just then from the Maverick. It was juicy. He's gone onto the Lion. So they're only going to have the ace for the hard breach. just feeling like maybe they might go a quicker attack. I don't know whether it'll be a rush, but they're just going to be searching for an opening with that Lion, or they're going to use it for potentially the roam clear. Wait to see, but I think that is a very juicy little 6-pick there from Juicy. What do you know? I'm really excited to see how this plays out for the Knights.
10 seconds to go.
And we saw it. Dev kind of phrased it as a not rush from 7th Heaven in the last round of Clubhouse in their previous matchup against Order. So maybe this could really be the undoing. And we all know how tough it can be for the mindset. So far, nothing's indicating an intensely fast move. And with how spread out and roam heavy Elevator attending the lean here with Vast coming up to support God Legion, could be a little bit tricky for them to, at the very least, just make that first approach into the site, into the map itself, and put pressure on these players.
Still no real pressure put on this roam. A few of the Elevate players off-site, Worthy going to be holding Library by himself. God Legion not too far behind in Piano. Constantly moving around. This is great from Elevate, wasting a lot of time here. God Legion now starting to feel some pressure. But that opening still being sought after.
I mean, this is a win in my book if you're Elevate. If you can continue to hold them back. Oh, hello. This might be nice. Is that Hayward there, I see? Right underneath. He's twin short. No, it may not be. That's a big pick. Oh, make it to still completely unaware on the main stairs there. So Dino will find the kill and continue to progress. They've still got the vertical control here, Elevate, but what a response from Knights.
Yeah, really good response. They're going to push from the rear. Fisho is the one that's going to have to try and hold this in the wine cellar. He's got 2 players pressuring him. The other is looming around that bar. Looks like they're going to progress towards blue as Digital rotates away from that. Like he's going to play this 90 to support Josh. He's found Fisho. That's that wine cellar player. This is a really good recovery from Knights right now.
God Legion, the Vigil, the flank, the man, the myth, the legend may just come back in time to support this defense. Dino, he is going to stick it right now. Digital just looking to go for that jiggle peek in a post-plant situation. Knights are going to have to hit their shots here. Josh progresses a little bit closer. God Legion, he's on the flank. Definitely cannot win that one out. Digital making the big plays. Dino, he's all left with it to do. He knows directly where both players are, but Digital will dismiss him, put him down. That's the 3rd round that Elevate will need, and the first of this half, a crucial one at that.
Bomb diffuser disabled by defenders.
Ended up being a pretty well executed roam from Elevate. It really stalled out the Knights. They didn't find the openings they wanted, and then there was the 2K opening that Elevate got around that mid-round stage. Always going to be tough to bring back, but the Knights really did start to claw it back. Got great openings in towards Wine Cellar, and look, they got in, they got the plant down, but the positioning and the play from Digital and God Legion close that out was fantastic, and that just brings them 1 round closer, only 1 round away from the Knights' lead.
In touching distance. Don't have enough information on Chalet right now in terms of comp to make any firm assumptions. The Knights' back would be up against the wall. 4-2. That first half was. Starting to believe that Elevate may just find a very early win. A nice early 3-point on board here if they can continue on the back of what they've just shown us here. It's ambitious. It's early to call. But nevertheless, Knights, they've always got something ready. There's always something more that they've got.
So far from Elevate, I think something that's standing out for me is one of their more high-profile players for the longest of times has been God Legion. And for the majority of 2020, honestly, he struggled. And you could say, can't put it all on one player, but I feel like it's a really good indicator for where the team is at. When the other team is struggling, there are clearly some issues that are just not enabling them to play to their full effectiveness. And right now, he started great in APAC South. He's currently the kill leader for Elevate, and he was really important in that previous round, bringing that back for Elevate on that flank and just the general roam. So if that's a sign of anything, this could be a really positive move that Elevate have made with Fisher Guy again, bringing some comfort to the God Legion, being able to get back to his strong self fragging out.
When you allow players to naturally perform as they wish, some crazy things can happen. Yeah, 1D nice and early here. Knight sticking the lion pick. In reference to the Nomad. Oh, wowzers.
I've asked to curse him. I've done it, Manic.
You really have. You have put him into the ground as well. Juicy absolutely ripped that head off. And Elevate are going to have to do it not just with the man down, but with the man down.
See whether they do bounce back, but really good early push here from the Knights, taking some great top floor map control, putting pressure straight on towards site. This is Hayward. He's playing this balcony, which is what we didn't see much from Elevate. They did not play that much from this piano window or bathroom window. It felt like that was really what was not rounding out their attack that well. There's something that the Knights are doing, and they've got control of lobby. They're opening this off this wall. This is a great attack right now.
So really deep line going to be held from Dino. And Fisher Guy realistically doesn't have a lot of room to move in there. But oh, that's ambitious. Juicy just not going to be able to catch the player from that vertical line. Still needs to be cautious. Default cam left up and information given. 50 seconds left. Vast, fortunate to be alive there. My goodness, these EE1Ds are unrelenting, and Fisher, though, has been injured. The diffuser's going down and Knights collapse. My word, nothing. Silence here for Elevate. Digital, you can try, you may. What an impressive round that we've seen.
Flawless, in fact, from the Knights. And look, I just think they really executed that attack so well. Just the small changes to the attack from Elevate. I mean, one, Elevate was so keen to take Solarium's side, but it just makes a lot of sense, right, to take library off the side. You take the library control, you've got top of lobby, you've got your flanks covered, you can start to open office wall. And then it's really hard as a defender to try and hold that off. And on top of that, the Knights did rotate somebody to that top piano window or the bathroom window, and we saw at least 2 picks come from that direction. Really key differences between the two teams, and it's allowed the Knights to get a flawless attack on Master Office.
Attackers need to locate and defuse it.
And right on the back of what we were saying, really hyping up Elevate. That is the response that we expect from Knights. It's what I've been saying this entire time. Just what's in their pocket? What do they have prepared? What do they have that could really throw a spanner in the works of any progression that Elevate make, room that they give themselves to breathe? And we know how essential this top floor defense, this top floor presence is for this site, and Elevate reiterating that right now.
Attacker's objective is to defuse a bomb.
Now, one key difference I'm also seeing between the two teams is the scoreboard. It's a very good effort from the Knights, I have to say. Most of them 7 and 6 kills between them. Pretty even deaths. It's very different on the side of Elevate. You have a few players up there on 7, a couple players down there on 3 kills. It's just not quite the same team effort that we see from Elevate. That's not to say that their teamwork is off and just be their system, but something that's great about the Knights is they are a well-rounded team. They really all pitch in on the scoreboard, and they're just a very tight-knit group at this stage because they've been playing together for quite a while now with this lineup.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference between the two teams, and it's really why I felt like the Knights were going to come out on top of this matchup, because they've had that chance to really gel together and Elevate. They've only had roster for about weeks with this addition of Fisher, right?
electric point the Rooney once again. Being brought on map number 2. That's good to see. Diverse range. I am really enjoying this pick from Juicy on the line. It's working to great effect for Knights, and it's causing a lot of chaos, a lot of discomfort here for Elevate. You know, Fast in that previous round went down so early. That's actually something to note as well. Swapped out onto the Wamai from Vigil. So a vast difference. Oh god, I hate it when I do that.
Something about it on Elevate is it's so easy to say puns accidentally, but they're under pressure here right now. Fast at the top of this library. He's trying to hold, but players in library push deep. That is Juicy, the Lion. It's got a great entry for the Knights now, and again, these attacks are looking really good for them. Giving themselves just over a minute with some good vertical pressure on the side, and Juicy is just going to keep rolling as he takes that digital. Sage answers with a frag. All looking great for Knights.
They are looking so damn clean. Every single step they've made on this second half from that second round onward has looked nasty. Worthy is in no man's land. Knights control sight, they control vertical, they control horizontal, they control the damn map. And now, Worthy, I mean, I believe crazy things, but
not that.
Not that, man. Not that. A 1v5. I mean, a bit of style points to go along with it. Knights are absolutely dominating these last 2 rounds, Raven.
Yeah, 2 flawlesses in a row. I mean, that's a great point. Dominating is exactly right. Elevate haven't found a kill for 2 rounds. Besides that Snowmobile defense, there has just been no answer. And it feels like all of a sudden the Knights have just clicked. They're just like, all right, Elevate, we know what you're trying to do. We've got this now. And those last 2 rounds were just uncounterable from the side of Elevate. So they're going back to Snow Wine. They did win it, and it was a good roam. But just with the adaptability we're seeing from the Knights right now, I just feel like they're going to figure out that counter. So we need to see something different from Elevate.
Defenders
In that case, look, I'm just going to spitball here. Vast being so isolated from the rest of his team. There's no one that was even in trading distance. No support from vertical, regardless of whether it's bottom up or top down. There was no support that could really come in for Vast, and it just felt like a cheap death. Maybe that's just my uneducated mind, but certainly when Knights have consistently brought the Lion and now making their own adaptation onto the Jackal, it is really making a lot of what Elevate may have lent into so difficult and uncomfortable to really achieve.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
All right, Elevate, time to find some answers here. We've got 3 rounds to make it up the Knights, as we were talking about in the first match. The overtime difference coming into the 2021 season is Knights have secured themselves points. You know, if they manage to lose it from here, they've secured themselves 1 point at the minimum. And Elevate are just going to be fighting to do the same. Get to overtime, they can at least get points on the board. Every point, no doubt, will matter in this regular season. But Elevate have 3 rounds consecutively ahead of them. They have to get 3 perfect rounds, and that's on the back of the Knights. 2 perfect rounds on their attack.
Well, I mean, devil's advocate, Elevate just have to get rounds, and that's not the way to do it, perfect or not. It can be as scrappy or as chaotic as they need it to be, but smack bang on the money. God Legion is ripped away so quickly. And I just don't think I have the belief. Worthy falling has just made things all that much harder. This is insanely good and a great response from the Knights.
Attackers drop.
And look, it is going to be tough, but Fisho and Didge combine for 2, so that does bring it back to be a 3v3 as Vast is now maybe played back to the site. He's been able to get past that player at the Snowmobile. It was Juicy. He's getting out of there. He's not going to open that or do any other additional work to the wall as the Maverick. And Vast is on the move here, Manic. They need to make something happen.
But if that diffuser's down in their hands, they may be able to kind of rally around the point of Digital. We saw that he picked up that kill off screen before. Is it in a retrievable place for Knights? Is it uncomfortable for them to try and work toward it? Looks like it's going to be. And that's exactly what Digital's going to play into. Just needing to be careful here. Hayward trying to pressure the site, but Fisho guy is holding and waiting with timing there. Juicy now has to try to reclaim the ground that's been lost. Vast actually gives it up for free. Happy for Juicy to try and poke and prod around the corner. And this is the patience that we need to see from in these moments. Just taking the time to breathe, taking the time to transfer that pressure back onto Juicy.
Recovered the bomb diffuser.
Just incredibly well played from Vast right now, but Juicy can have this opportunity to take a 1v1 on site. Going to try and push through. Fisho not playing close at least. And this is where it's going to have to be even more important on Fisho. If he was to lose this fight to Juicy, it's going to be tough for Vast. Time to find out what happens. 10 seconds, Manic.
Oh, I love this from Fisho so much. Just stay alive. That's all you need to do in this situation. You do not need to face Juicy. It's exactly what he's done. Really, really well played from Elevate there to claw back around, seem to be snowballing out of control. And that, for me, starts with Digital, the call, the double down, and the isolation. It gives Elevate everything. Really well played.
Incredibly well played. I mean, I think it was you that said it, Matic. You felt like after they lost the first 2 picks that it was not going to be able to be salvaged at all. But they just did a fantastic job on site there. Worked together to get those picks to bring it back. Beautifully played, but 2 more rounds ahead of them. They've now won Snowwine twice. They're yet to win the other sites. So this is really where it comes down to it. Bar Gaming was a flawless against them last time.
Yeah, it wasn't even close. And I think it's just as simple as this. Juicy, absolutely mental online. Now goes back to a familiar face, reprising the role that caused Elevate so much trouble. Keeping my eyes on what Elevate do to change this. I believe they brought the Echo. I don't believe they brought the Mozzie in the previous round either. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I do like this.
Yeah, no Mozzie or Echo. Who's the what? Because this works out, doesn't mean they're completing that Mozzie combo as well. So they will be able to really deny info, something that the Knights are heavy on. They love their drones. Incredibly good team at droning. So denying them that I think will be very helpful for holding this top 4. This is where it fell apart last time. The Knights really gained this top 4 control relatively quickly. It was off the back of Juicy getting a 2K as Lion entering through Library. If they could hold this vertical more, Elevate, give themselves a better chance.
Curious to see how they combine with the player just above Fireplace and also a secondary member for Elevate on Library Stairs. Didn't connect as well as what we had hoped for last round, but for obvious reasons, when you have someone out on the balcony just kind of shutting down any rotation into Library, it can make it really difficult. It can make it uncomfortable. But this time, Elevate cannot lose a player early. They cannot allow that same fault. And Juicy is popping off right now. 11 kills, Raven.
He is having a very good game right now, and I feel like, in particular, the second half, stepped up, playing prolifically on this Lion. The gadget being helpful. Dino, though, he's got the opening for this one. That's Vast, which you're going to say, see you later. He gets the second on Fisho. Knights, again, putting themselves in such a great position, and again, God Legion, he's going to have to go up this top floor, and still half the round to go. The Knights just fantastic. It gets up.
Bomb located by attackers.
It's something that is going to pay dividends. Digital off-site, holding somewhat of a crossing, a crossfire, not really a crossfire, more so a difficult angle for Knight to try and push past. In comes the E1 deep. Juicy makes his way into the site. Perfect use, and that is going to be the diffuser going down. Worthy has to hit this now, and it does not connect. This is going to be near impossible. He'll find a free kill, knows there's a player vertical, but it's all falling apart here for Elevate. 2 players left. Knights are slowly and surely dismantling them. God Legion left with it all to do. A 1v3 tries to take the aggressive fight. Sage sits back perfectly, and that is the Knights taking their first map of APAC South.
Honestly, just so well played from Knights. In the end, they really showed their strength when they rotated onto attack. They just had Elf's number and pulled it off. Juicy, big game from him. You highlighted it coming into that last round. He was already on kills. Ended on the 11, pairing with Dino, but again, just so tight the way that they attacked, and they were getting the map control needed when they needed it in that first half of the round.
Dino felt like the secret warrior, honestly. Did not expect to see that kind of scoreline from him, but it worked. And at the end of the day, this is what we were talking about from Knights. It's the difference. It's what has set them apart continuously for the past 3 months, even from teams like Wildcard at times. There is just another level they can play to when they need it.
Yeah, they really can step it up, and they have been playing some really good Siege lately. I mean, the most recent competitive result at top level was beating Wildcard in the APAC season finals. That is no small feat. I mean, Wildcard were undefeated in grand finals of every event last year. Pretty much every event. I actually have to double check that, but I'm pretty sure it was off the top of my head.
Yep.
Wildcard generally always had the Knights number, and they actually brought it back in the season finals. And they've skinned strength to strength. They're really tightening up as a squad. So I'm excited to see how they can continue this in APAC South.
Well, you're excited to see go moving forward. I'm excited to hear what Xenox and the team have to say on the desk. Gentlemen, take it away.
Yes, thank you very much, Rob. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to really dive deep into the match, but of course, I got my 2 trusty friends who are much more big brain than me. Gentlemen, of course, Knights ended up getting, well, I guess an expected victory, though, on a map that we haven't really seen much of yet, of course. Only just in the map. How did that play a factor?
Yeah, well, I was really keen to see Chalet. I know a lot of people be watching not just because it is APAC South, but because they wanted to see Chalet's debut on the Rainbow Six channel. I thought it was really good. I know, guys, you've been searching a lot of Chalet. It seems very Roam slam heavy so far. So.
Yeah, Chalet is shaping up to be a really fun map. I think we can probably put it up with the likes of in the way in which the defenders try to hold the map and maintain control and just track us from getting in anywhere. Just contest as many of the windows and entry points as you could. I like the fact that we saw some diversity in the bomb site choices. I believe it was who started on the defense. It was the Knights, and they took us to Kitchen in the second. I was saying to you guys heading into this week that we probably were never going to see this site, yet we did see it get played. So good diversity and some good aggression to boot. I think Chalet is going to develop into a really fun map in the future.
Did everything kind of go, I guess, to expectations then for you guys? For me personally, while you prepare your answer, because I know it takes a little moment, but that kitchen side, that was the only thing that really sort of threw me off guard. Everything else played out the way I kind of expected it. And once that line got in the mix and really tried to, shut down that defensive roam, I think it played out to my expectations.
Yeah, I don't think we saw anything too wild, probably playing out pretty similarly to the sort of default strategy as you would see, to be honest. I mean, the only thing that would really stand out that's high-level competition strat-wise at the moment is some of the strongholds we saw on the stairs. I know early on we saw Solarium be a hot point of contention. Later into the game, we saw the Dev Martyr trademark set up at the top of library stairs with the shield, the ADS of the Jaeger. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think we saw anything too crazy, but APAC, give it a couple of weeks and we'll be seeing crazy stuff for sure.
Yeah, surely agree. Juicy really popped off this game. You already mentioned the Lions, Xenox. He ended on 11 kills, as Red noted, and he had a lot of opening kills. So whether or not it was the Lion, I think that Lion, the ability of the Lion did have a decent impact, but we saw Elevate bring Vigil and Mute to counter. Anyway, overall, it's doubtless to say that Knights did a good job shutting down Roam, and that was really pivotal alongside some good shots from players like Juicy and Dino. Really helped them. And I guess it's just Knights continuing their dominance in OC. In fact, the last time Knights lost an official was way back in December in the Six Invitational qualifiers, and believe it or not, that against QConfirm, a team that they don't usually play, but will start playing on the reg now here in APAC South.
Yeah, we can always count on you to have the stats in hand, Mr. Spreadsheet. We got our interview, though, of course, from the matchup. You mentioned Juicy. It is Dino, who also had 11 kills as well. Stellar performance individually, but also as a team. Congratulations, Dino. Good to get off the mark, of course, for APAC South with a win. You guys must be pretty happy with how you played on Chalet.
Of course, coming into Chalet, it's a new map. We don't know how the meta is going to happen. We don't know how it's going to work. But happy to say that it worked out well. Elevate's a great team, so to get the win early, it was really good. Alex on Kitchen were a bit sloppy, but other than that, I think the map was pretty good, and we deserved the win, in my opinion, 100%.
Good. Good. I'm interested to hear from the horse's mouth, Dino. You guys have made massive improvements. It's pretty incredible to think where you guys were a year ago, even a year and a half ago. Like, you guys had only just qualified for Pro League, not even, and in that time, you guys have become probably the most favored team in OS, especially with the news about Wildcard today. I'm interested to hear from you. What's it like been this journey, especially the last 6 months where Knights has really taken it to the next level? And what do you think is the next step for you guys?
It's so far us so unfortunate to wildcard, but it's been, I think these last 6 months have been amazing because we used to always have the goal of the best team in South. I think with wildcard now having the issue, it now like cements us in technically being the best. Our next goal, and I think our biggest goal, is obviously coming first in APAC South, and then hopefully trying to become international and try to verse other teams, other regions. But yeah, that's our main goal.
Do you think it's achievable for you?
Of course, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Oof, kind of stole my question there. That's what I was going to ask. I guess I can adapt it a little bit. What do you guys think you need to do to that #1 level? I would probably make the argument that you guys might not be as good as the Giants that had the experience in APAC North last year. I mean, would you agree with that? And if you do, what do you guys reckon you need to do to try and beat them?
Not giving out too much. I think it's just experience at this time. I think we have 5 dedicated players. You can see every season we're improving. I think it's just a matter of time. And I think if we keep playing and we keep putting our 100%, then yeah, it's just time for us to be the best. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, I think you guys are the best in OCE, and now it's time to become the best in APAC as well. Congratulations on the win, mate. Any final thoughts, any final shout-outs before we let you go?
Just shout out to Pittsburgh Knights. We want to say thank you, our coach Picnic and our manager Kata. Without them two, nothing would be possible.
Awesome work, mate. Best of luck in your next matches to come for APAC South, and have a nice rest of the night off.
Thank you very much. Have a great night, boys.
Happy days when you're on the winning side, of course. When you're on the losing side, though, which was Elevate's case, they wouldn't be to how that went, guys. I'll start with you, Dev, here as we sort of have our final thoughts, really, on this matchup between Knights and Elevate. We don't know because we don't have the interview with Elevate, but would they be disappointed with that, or are they kind of like, testing the waters a bit?
I feel like for Elevate, it's an expected result. They're still developing with the new roster. But great to hear from Dino. I reckon that you two, Rob, Raven, and Dino, all look exactly alike. We could probably put you in a lineup, and no one would know who is two. But I'll just take a second to admit, at Knights, it's amazing to see the journey they've had. There are so many players on that roster who haven't been in Tier 1 for very long. A player like Sage, who has taken on the responsibility of IGL for that team, and now they're the best in OS. It's just amazing. So what a story. And I'm just so excited to see them shooting for their next goal, which is being the top in APAC South.
Yeah, I mean, I think you've wrapped up Knights pretty well on the side of Elevate. As you said, an expected result. I say that with some caution because I feel like this game probably could have gone a lot worse for Elevate. It felt like the Knights had a pretty good grasp of Chalet, and as you've mentioned, they are probably the best team in the region. So Elevate, a respectable result. Unfortunately, it's not enough to earn them any points towards the standings, but still plenty of time left for that in the rest of the stage.
Yeah, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for Elevate. Long season ahead of them as well. And of course, still a new roster as well. So I guess they can still piggyback off that excuse for a little longer. Regardless, though, we're going to go to a break. When we come back, these two are going in the game, and we're going to have the other two come on the desk. And of course, we've got a pretty big few games coming up. After the break, it's Wildcard versus Q Confirm.